हाँ, आप मानसिक स्वास्थ्य के बारे में क्या जानते हैं कि मतलब
मानसिक स्वास्थ्य इंसान को मतलब स्टेबल रहना चाहिए और बात बात पे गुस्सा नहीं होना चाहिए। तो वो वो आदमी को मैं समझता हूँ कि उसका मानसिक संतुलन ठीक है।
मेंटल हेल्थ मतलब ऐसे जो अपन इनर अपना माइंड जो सोचता है, मतलब जैसे कि कोई इंसान डिस्टर्ब रहता है, मेंटली इल रहता है, या फिर वो मेंटली अनस्टेबल रहता है, मेरे को थोड़ा बहुत उसके बारे में पता है।
ओके, सो आपको मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में कुछ पता है, क्या होती है?
हाँ, मतलब मेंटल हेल्थ फिजिकल हेल्थ जैसी मेंटल हेल्थ भी होता है, यू टू मेंटेन इट। आप डिप्रेशन में जाते हो, कब हैप्पीनेस में आते हो, एंजाइटी में जाते हो।
What is mental health according to you?
I don't know. I think the state of happiness. If you're happy, I think I can relate it to being mentally well.
Like in general, what do you know about mental health?
Let's say 20 years back, we were not that serious about mental health. Also, like our parents, they didn't even knew the concept of mental health. Like if we have, like today we know the terms like depression or anxiety. So our parents had no idea that something like this exists, or even if it exists, it was like a stigma or something like that. If your mental health is good, so you can do or achieve anything, and basically if your mental health is good, so even your physical health will be good.
तो आपको क्या लगता है कि मेंटल हेल्थ क्या है? मेंटल हेल्थ आई थिंक मतलब ऐसे अपना जो इमोशनल वेलबींग होता है वो बोल सकते हैं कि मेंटल हेल्थ है, लेकिन पीसफुल माइंड बोलो लाइक ऐसे सिंपल वर्ड्स में कि मतलब लाइक ऐसे अपना जो थॉट प्रोसेसेस वगैरह है वो सब लाइक ऐसा पीसफुली चल रही है, जैसे मेंटल हेल्थ ऐसा मेंटल वेलबींग बोल सकते हैं शायद।
So what is mental health according to you?
Mental health, I feel that someone should be really satisfied, he's strong from mentally taking decisions. I feel personally that is the good health of a person.
Okay, so basically as you know कि there is a lot of pressure that parents put on their children in order to succeed academically or in life in general. So do you think that pressure in any way affects the mental health of a child, or the child of the parent?
I think it's a definite answer. Yes,
Yeah.
of course, it does affect mental health, but that depends on if the interest of the child and parents are mutual or not. Like if parents is pressurizing on something which child is into or something, and if they have understood that this is the niche that child might have to follow and child is good at it, so I think that would be fine, whereas child wouldn't feel much pressurized. But whereas if child is into something else, where he feels like he has a good art, or maybe he's more artistic, and parents are not into that, in that case, yeah, there would be a lot of pressure.
हां, म्हणजे मानवाच्या प्रत्येक आयुष्यात कधी ना कधी डिप्रेशन असतं. उदाहरणार्थ मी एक जर विद्यार्थी आहे, तर मला कमी मार्क्स पडले म्हणून डिप्रेशन असतं. खूपदा ह्या वयात टीनेजरच्या वयात एक रिलेशनशिप असतं आणि ब्रेकअप झाला म्हणून खूप जण डिप्रेशनमध्ये जातात, किंवा करिअरवर फोकस नाही होत म्हणून डिप्रेशन असतं, किंवा घरच्यांचा प्रॉब्लेम्स असतात, घरचे प्रॉब्लेम्स म्हणून डिप्रेशन असतं. ह्या डिप्रेशनमधून सगळेच जातात.
The society, the previous generation of us has built up expectations like the man has to be the money, the one who earns the money, and the woman has to be the caregiver. So do you believe in those gender roles?
So, see, for a stereotypical society like our India culture, it's like a framework people go with. So it has been working quite well, you could say, but it's not necessary it would be applied to each and every generation. So for you, if you're from like in a city environment, and if you are independent enough, I guess you are supposed to be at least taking care of what your own source of income and general expense. Like you are not supposed to be dependent on your partner irrespective of gender. So it's good for you, like even if things work out it's better, but if it didn't, you are not going to be like a person without no income and going to be dependent on someone else. Let it be your partner or maybe your family. It's much better being having a source of income.
ओके, सो इन योर ओपिनियन आपको क्या लगता है कि कौन सा एज ग्रुप इज मोर प्रोन या मोर लाइकली टू बी मेंटली इल या हैव मोर मेंटल हेल्थ स्ट्रगल्स?
Teenagers, because they get into relationships which gives them mental illness.
डेफिनेटली मेंटल हेल्थ का ध्यान रखना चाहिए।
आपने कभी एक्सपीरियंस किया है जैसे कुछ मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम, तो आपको कभी ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है मेंटल हेल्थ?
बहुत बार एग्ज़ाम के टाइम पे, हर बार, अभी भी हो रहे हैं।
व्हाट डू यू थिंक कॉजेज मेंटल इलनेस?
मेंटल इलनेस ऐसी चीज़ है लाइक फैमिली अगर ज़्यादा प्रेशर डाले फॉर स्टडी एंड नॉट गोइंग आउट और हैंग आउट टाइप विथ योर फ्रेंड्स एंड etc, इसको भी मेंटल इशू कह सकते हैं मेरे पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से। मैं दूसरे के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू पे नहीं बोलूँगा। लाइक मैं मुझसे बुक नहीं पढ़ी जाती, तो मैं ज़्यादा बुक पढ़ूँगा तो मैं भी थोड़ा मेंटल इलनेस में चला जाऊँगा।
आपको कभी ऐसा मेंटल मतलब कभी स्ट्रेस एंजाइटी ये सब होता है?
नहीं
नहीं होता है?
तो आपको क्या लगता है लाइक अगर कोई इंसान काम कर रहा है लाइक इन अ वर्क प्लेस, कोई ऑफिस में किसी कंपनी में, तो उसमें भी जो है उनकी मेंटल हेल्थ कुछ एक ज़रूरी है?
ज़रूरी है, बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि अगर मेंटल हेल्थ नहीं होगा तो वो अपने कलीग्स के साथ मतलब कुछ शेयर नहीं कर पाएगा कुछ।
So, do you think emotional intelligence is as important as IQ, our normal intelligence?
It is very important in today's era, because emotional EQ, if you have, and your intelligence is quite high, but if you are not able to balance your emotional thought process with your colleagues, with your staff, with your team members.
Do you think emotional quotient is as important as intelligence quotient?
Very, very much. Very, very much. Right? World over, the studies, there that now it is management by emotions that are happening. So I think it's absolutely important for somebody to understand what are the EQs of people they are dealing with, and it takes more precedence than the IQ at this point in time.
तो आपको लगता है कि मेंटल हेल्थ जरूरी है जिंदगी में?
हाँ ज़रूरी है।
फिजिकल हेल्थ जितनी?
या
अगर आप क्या क्या कर सकते हैं अपनी एक्टिविटी जिंदगी में जिससे आपकी मेंटल हेल्थ सुधरेगी?
देखिए सबसे पहले तो इंसान नॉर्मली जिम करता है, योगा करता है,
हाँ।
सुबह उठता है जल्दी, शाम में जिम जाता है, डाइट करता है, टाइम टाइम से खाना खाता है।
So, what is empathy according to you?
I feel more than empathy thought process, people under the empathy, they start giving you a sympathy.
Okay.
So many people I have seen that they start pitying yourself rather than making you strong and following a culture of empathy. They actually make you weak eventually, and they disturb your mindset. So I personally feel that this thought process is, counseling or consulting or talking to people, rather than that, if you are internally strong and understand what are your inner qualities. So I don't think so either you will require an empathy or a sympathy.
What is empathy according to you?
For me, empathy, is amongst the top 3 things one should have, along with compassion and passion.
हो म्हणजे एखाद्या माणसाला पटकन राग येणं किंवा एखादी गोष्ट समजून न घेता येणं किंवा मानसशास्त्र म्हणजे लोकांच्या दृष्टीने बघायला गेलं तर भूतप्रेत म्हणजेच एखाद्या माणसाला आवाज ऐकू येणं किंवा वेगळ्या गोष्टी दिसणं, ह्याला मानसशास्त्रात वेगळंच म्हणतात की ह्याला भूतप्रेत लोक म्हणत असतील, की मानसशास्त्रात हा कुठेतरी प्रॉब्लेम आहे आणि ह्याला आपण मानसशास्त्राच्या दृष्टीने सोडवू शकतो.
So in your life, have you ever faced discrimination based towards your gender, or have you seen anyone else facing it?
Like personally speaking, like I haven't faced anything yet, so it doesn't personally affect me. But in a way, I have seen, observed it around, like regarding like specific gender or some kind of caste discrimination around me. So it's like not like specifically to me, but I have observed it to all.
तो आपको क्या लगता है कि लाइक इंडिया में जो है आप भी देखते होंगे कि मेंटल हेल्थ जो है वो उसके बारे में ज़्यादा लोग किसी से बात नहीं करते हैं, आप भी किसी से शेयर करते हैं अपनी बातें?
नहीं, पहली बार तो कोई पूछ रहा है और क्या क्या जवाब दे रहा हूँ मुझे समझ में भी नहीं आ रहा है।
तो आपको क्या लगता है कि इंडिया में जो है लोग जो मेंटल हेल्थ के ऊपर टॉप मतलब बात नहीं करते ज़्यादा, आपको क्या लगता है इस चीज़ में ग्रोथ होनी चाहिए?
हाँ ऑब्वियसली इस पे ग्रोथ होनी चाहिए। लाइक मैं भी देखता हूँ कि ज़्यादा कोई ऐसे ज़्यादा बात नहीं करता मेंटल हेल्थ के ऊपर, ऐसे करते भी तो बहुत रेयरली, ऐसे बहुत कम लोग देखते हैं। जैसे आप अभी मेरे को आके पूछने लगे, तो ऐसे आप पहले पर्सन हो जिन्होंने मेरे को ऐसे अपना ओपिनियन पूछा कि मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में, तो अभी तक तो मैं किसी को नाही देखा।
आज आमच्या सोसायटीमध्ये असं असतं, बोलतात की हां की जे मुलं असतात, मेन्स असतात, त्यांची जे फिलिंग आहे ते सप्रेस करायला, दुसऱ्यांना दाखवायचं नाही. तर तुम्हाला असं काय वाटतं की ते जे आपले जे फिलिंग्ज आहेत त्या आतमध्ये आपण दबवून सप्रेस करून ते त्यांचं मेंटल हेल्थवर इफेक्ट पडतात का तसं फिलिंग्सला हे करून?
इफेक्ट तर पडतात. जर काय आपल्या फिलिंग आपण जर काय कोणाला एक्सप्रेस नाही केल्या, आपण जर काय कोणाला सांगितलं नाही नॉर्मली, तर त्याच्यामुळे साईड इफेक्ट शेवटी आपल्याला होतात. म्हणून आपण बोलतो ना की आपल्या मनात जे काय असेल ते आपण ॲक्च्युली सगळ्याला सांगायला पाहिजे.
काउंसलर तो नहीं, बट हमारा ईयरली सेशन होता है जहाँ पे हम
दैट्स अभी इंडिया में मोस्टली ये बहुत कम होता है, ऐसा देखा है मैंने।
एक्चुअली ऐसा नहीं है, जानते हैं लोग, बट वी डोंट, हम ओपन नहीं है उसके बारे में, मतलब एवरीवन
तो
नोज, लाइक माय पेरेंट्स नोज दैट आई एम सैड, बट वी आर नॉट ओपन इन फॉरेन, लाइक आई हैव आल्सो ट्रैवल्ड अब्रॉड वेयर आई सी दैट द पीपल आर वेरी ओपन अबाउट इट, दे आर
सो डू यू थिंक कि जो मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम से डील करते हैं उन्हें साइकोथेरेपिस्ट या साइकोलॉजिस्ट के पास जाना चाहिए और दे कैन हेल्प देम?
Yeah, sure. Like it is not like something you should just keep it to yourself. It is a normal. जैसे सर्दी खांसी होती है आपको, you go to doctor. This is also like because mental stress affects your physical health also. So that's why it's better to consult a therapist. Just like you go to a doctor, you can just go to a therapist. That will help you, your mentally and physically both.
Do you believe in therapy or counseling for mental health? If yes, then why?
I feel at times yes, because some people may need it, because not everybody is headstrong, they can't manage. But I think that if people spend a little good time with their own self, because nowadays if I have to see that people do not invest time on their own self by giving them 1 hour whatever they wants to do and away from the gadget or away from the people. If you start doing that 1 hour contribution for your own self, spending some time in readings, walking, music, anything which you like it, I don't think so that you will require any stress buster or stress related counseling for to go anywhere for that matter.
Okay, so an extension of that, do you also think that the family dynamics people have, maybe there's a neglectful parent who isn't present a lot in the child's life, do you think that would also affect the child's behavior or mental health in any way? And if so, how is there any way that the child can get out of that zone?
So I think yes. First of all, child would definitely have that mental pressure on it, because the kind of support that is needed from the parents is not available at that moment, or not available at all. So in that case, either what child can do is either speak out that this is something that is happening with that particular child, and if parents are still maybe not very much familiar with how to tackle with this, that is when a child needs maybe some external support or something like that. But then I think it depends, or it totally depends on how smart the child is, if he can or she can get into that, and also the age, of course.
Okay. Do you believe in therapy or counseling for mental health? If yes or no, why?
I don't know. I've never been to a counselor or a therapist. I never understood whether I need one. For me, my therapy is, whenever I feel a bit stressed, I have my own way, as I said. I travel a lot.
इन योर ओपिनियन अगर कोई इंसान मेंटल इलनेस के थ्रू जा रहा है तो वो खुद से क्योर हो सकता है या फिर उसे प्रोफेशनल हेल्प सीख करने की ज़रूरत है?
एक स्टेज होता है हर एक चीज़ का, अगर स्टेज के अबव वो इंसान चला जाता है तो उसको प्रोफेशनल्स की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी, वरना वो खुद से भी क्योर हो सकता है.
So like, do you deal with any kind of anxiety, stress, or anything in like daily life or something?
Anxieties, and I was in a state of depression which I had no idea about. So it took time for me to realize that something is wrong, and then I approached a psychologist. So a college had a psychologist. So I visited her and she counseled me. She told me about concepts and everything, how to deal with stress, how to cope with it, and how to overcome anxiety. So like overthinking too is a thing. So students or anyone who overthinks, so it is very bad for mental health. And so I had to deal with it, but I have overcome it.
Pretending to be okay when you are not doesn't prevent pain, it prolongs it.
We know that mental illness is not something that happens to other people, it touches us all. Then why is mental illness met with so much misunderstanding and fear?
To understand yourself, you must be aware of not only your
conscious thoughts, but also your unconscious prejudice, bias, and habits.
We should make it clear that getting help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength.
No one is born believing in harmful stereotypes. They are learned over time. But there's a good news, it can be unlearned.
Emotions that aren't expressed can manifest in the body as physical pain because what our minds cannot hold, our body does. So don't let anybody tell you to not express your emotions or to suppress them, because when you are the most vulnerable, that is when you are the most human.
When we deny people their emotions, we deny them their humanity, and when we embrace our emotions, we honor the full spectrum of what it means to be alive.
Mental health is not something one just experiences in times of crisis. It's a part of oneself that requires just as much care and attention as physical health does.
Let's create a space where every mind feels safe, where struggles are understood, and where being accepted for who you are is the foundation of healing.